Thank you for watching Scary Bear Attacks. If you like this episode, please remember to hit the like button and leave a comment or two, then subscribe and click on the bell to receive notifications of whenever we release new videos. Also, please remember to share them to your social media. As the morning shadows retreated, the spruce forest reached an emerald crescendo. Two hikers welcomed the revelation of track and trail as they moved along the shore of Janet Lake. So far, their trip to Glacier National Park had been peaceful and a soothing balm to the soul. The thermals had just started to warm up enough to draw the cool air up from the valley. Having the comfort of sight beyond their headlamps, they made their way through a blueberry thicket bisected by the trail. From the dark end of the berry patch, a few twigs snapped. Both hikers froze in mid-step and glanced toward each other warily. A dark brown image rose slowly from the thicket brambles. Slowly turning their heads, the hikers saw two more, much smaller, brown, fuzzy heads pop up among the tangle. Just then, the larger bear dropped to all fours, and all hell broke loose. Welcome back to Scary Bear Attacks. Lake Janet sits in the park's far northern Belly River country, a back of beyond basin-braided by Olson Creek and walled by names that loom large in the local imagination. Porcupine Ridge to the south, the Citadel Peaks beyond, and the long spine of the border mountains, a valley away toward Goat Haunt. This is Glacier as people picture it in the quiet hours, cold clear water cupped in bowls of conifers. The alpine wind is combed by the crowns of subalpine fir and Engelmann spruce, and when the weather settles, a mirror flat surface that turns the mountains upside down. In late August, berries cause a buzz in all wildlife and human visitors, as bears cruise the shaded edges where huckleberry, serviceberry, buffaloberry, and thimbleberry thicken the margins of trail and creek. Moose, elk, mule deer, and mountain goats work the meadows and benches, while predators, grizzly and black bears, wolves, and mountain lions slip across the same game trails that hikers use. The result is a living crossroads where every sound matters. The Belly River country itself has seen its share of hard lessons. In late September of 1980, Lawrence Gordon was killed at the Elizabeth Lake campsite just down valley from Janet. A reminder that surprise encounters in food-related situations can turn a quiet valley into a scene of chaos. Through the 1980s and 90s, the park lost additional visitors to bears. Jane Ammerman and Kim Eberly in 1980, Charles Gibbs and Gary Godin in 1987, John Petriani in 1992, and Craig Dahl in 1998. Each case with its own circumstances, and each one shaping subsequent policy and backcountry culture. On August 27, 2025, a 34-year-old woman, whom we will call Denise, was hiking with her trail companion, whom we'll call Cheryl, in mid-afternoon. They'd packed bear spray on the trip, but didn't carry firearms, and were without the company of their dogs. They'd made their way led by headlamps for the darkest hours of the morning, and now could navigate without their aid. As they hiked, the trail dropped to closely parallel the lake shore as it traveled west. At a particularly dense patch along the trail, the hikers moved slowly, taking in every detail as a precaution. Now, I'm pretty sure these two had practiced what they would do in anticipation of running into a bear along the trail. Running the scenario through your mind can be like a form of training, which can eventually become a rote reaction. Practicing motions like pulling your bear spray and flicking the protective tab off, or tucking into a ball to protect your vitals, helps when the terror of an attacking bear paralyzes you. Making their way slowly, the hikers were backed on one side by the lake and by a dense patch of berry canes that crowded the trail on the other. They had few places to go in the event of any difficulty. As you may expect, as soon as they entered the berry patch, twigs began to snap, freezing both hikers in their place. As their eyes grew with fear, the hikers glanced at each other before turning to the berry patch slowly. A huge brown head soon rose from the berry brambles, followed by two much shorter ones. The hikers had become entangled in the worst-case scenario in the outdoor world. They'd come too close to a sow bear with her cubs. Just to be clear, during the first 50 years of the park, there were no reported bear attacks. It has been over 50 years since then, and they have become regular incidents during the summer and fall months. This information may have been considered by the hikers before their trip, but now had a particular significance. With Denise ahead of Cheryl on the trail, a brown-colored bear busted from the brush at only a few yards away. Behind her trailed 2 cubs from this spring. Denise knew the bear would be on her first and did the only thing she could think of. She covered her head and neck, dropped into a fetal position, and rolled downhill off the trail. Closing in on Denise, the angry mama bear swatted her in the shoulder, gashing her arm and shoulder before she could roll out of the bear's path. This added distraction in the sow's path allowed Cheryl to draw her bear spray from its holster, flip the safety tab, and shoot a noxious cloud of orange goodness right into the bear's face. Bear spray doesn't take long to work, and soon had permeated the bear's mucosal membranes, lining its mouth, throat, and lungs, as well as its eyes and nose. All told, that is a lot of pain and burning at one time, and the reaction soon follows the application. The hikers looked on as the angry sow began to cough and gag. She turned and took several steps away from the hikers, pawing at and tossing her head. The irritant had done its job, causing her eyes to flood with tears, her sensitive nose to overrun with mucus, and her breathing to be painful and distressed, albeit temporarily. The sow didn't want any more to do with the hikers or the spray they carried. She gathered her cubs up and disappeared into the brush to wait out the effects of the spray. After watching the bears depart, Cheryl helped Denise back to the trail and assessed her injuries. She had deep gashes that extended from her upper arm to her shoulder, but was not in critical condition. They really didn't have any other options, and had to press on to the Janet Lake Wilderness Campground, hoping for help there. Though only about 1/3 a mile ahead of them, the campground was an ambitious goal with Denise's injuries. As blood trickled down her arm beneath her clothes, she made the trip as fast as she could. Fortune would smile on the hikers as they located a hiking party resting there with a Garmin inReach. The device was used to call GNP dispatch and request medical help. Rangers responded with a medical helicopter to transport Denise to the Logan Medical Center in Kalispell, where she was listed to be in stable condition. As for the bear, the park described a brown-colored bear with 2 cubs, and managers are treating the event as defensive behavior from her surprised mother. No removal is planned. Nearby backcountry facilities, including the Janet Lake Wilderness Campground, were temporarily closed while rangers patrolled and posted warnings, an approach consistent with Glacier's emphasis on risk reduction over retribution in defensive encounters or when sows protect their cubs. Speaking of cubs, our Cub Cheer membership on Patreon, linked below, will give you ad-free early access to episodes, photos, and notes. And the $3 per month goes a long way in helping me continue to produce educational and entertaining content like this. Glacier National Park spans roughly 1,013,000 acres, about 1,583 square miles, of some of the most intact mountain ecosystems left in the lower 48. Researchers estimate the park provides habitat for nearly 1,000 bears in total. Within that, recent park communications placed the grizzly population at roughly 300 animals, and peer-reviewed work has estimated Glacier's black bears at roughly 600 in the early 2000s. Take those round figures together and you get on the order of about 1 bear per 1.5 square miles, dense for the contiguous United States, and a reminder that hikers are guests on well-traveled bear ground. At the larger landscape scale, the Northern Continental Divide ecosystem, which includes and surrounds Glacier, now supports more than 1,000 grizzly bears, a conservation turnaround built over decades. Historically, Glacier's most infamous bear incidents clustered between the late 1960s and the 1990s. Compilations of park history and news reporting put that total number of fatal bear attacks inside Glacier at around 10 during that era, with none confirmed in the park since the late 1990s. There has never been a documented human fatality due to black bear attack at Glacier National Park. Education, closures, and the normalization of bear spray likely contribute to that trajectory. After reviewing the facts surrounding this episode, I'm left with a few questions for you. Would the bear have more severely injured Denise or both hikers had Cheryl not effectively utilized her bear spray? Would an air horn used during approach of dense patches of brush alerted the bears to the hikers' approach or startled them into an attack? With satellite communicators proven useful in the backcountry, should they be considered part of preparations along with bear spray? I will gladly read and reply to your thoughts, so post them in the comments section below, and let's talk about it. Thank you for watching Scary Bear Attacks. If you've enjoyed this episode, please consider clicking on the like button and clicking on the bell icon. We'll help you know when we post our new episodes. Posting our video links to your social media profiles furthers awareness, and it's fun. We slashed our prices in our merch store, linked below, so check out the bargains there while you shop. As a member of our human community, remember to adventure bravely and be careful out there, especially in bear country.